Madison Brush explains why she went no contact with father Kody Brown. Madison "Maddie" Brush is speaking out against her father Kody Brown. The daughter of Sister Wives star Yanel Brown revealed why she decided to cut contact with her dad on the November 11th episode of her podcast, The Authentic Society. The 29-year-old, who has 3 children and is currently pregnant with her 4th, has been a topic of conversation on the current 19th season of the TLC hit, but fans have not heard much from her perspective until now. "I have no contact with some of my family, and it's because of stuff that has happened," she explained. "Kody doesn't have any respect for boundaries, and you have to play by his rules, and I just don't care to do that. My dad would get very angry when I'm a straight shooter. You ask me a question, I'm going to tell you what I think, and he would get very angry when I would be like, I don't know why you're surprised here," she continued. "And so that was one of the reasons that I went no contact, because it was like, he didn't like a mirror being held up." Maddie said when she would disagree with Kody, 55, or bring attention to an issue she had with him, he would immediately become defensive. There was a lot of anger and he'd be like, "That's not true," and I'm like, "It is true. I know this firsthand," she explained. "I always get messages from people who are like, you should just forgive your dad and respect him. And I'm like, I don't think you know what you're talking about, because your experience with your dad could be very different than my experience with my dad. Some people just don't deserve to be in your life," she added. 3 of Kody's 4 marriages to his sister wives fell apart within a span of 14 months. His 3rd wife, Christine, was the first to leave in November 2021, and he and Yanel separated a year later in December 2022. "Kody and I have separated and I'm happy, really happy," Yanel said in a previous Sister Wives one-on-one special. "I don't know, things just really became sort of indifferent, like I just didn't care anymore." Yanel also said that she was not waiting for a possible reconciliation with Kody. "I've kind of mourned that part of our life is gone," she shared. "I wasn't heartbroken. It wasn't heartbreaking for me like it was for Christine Brown. It was just kind of like, I just mourned that life was gone. We had this great run." Around that same time, Kody's first wife Meri confirmed their separation after the pair's relationship had been platonic and distant for years. "Every choice is mine to make." Sister Wives Yanel Brown is working on an important project amid her 2025 detox. She finally has freedom. Yanel Brown from Sister Wives is enjoying her freedom after leaving Kody Brown and now has big dreams for the future. She married Kody in 1993 and became Meri Brown's sister wife. A year later, Christine Brown joined the Brown family as Kody's 3rd wife. Yanel and Kody had 6 children and had a strong relationship. However, things changed when Robyn Brown became Kody's 4th wife. Kody's obsession with his youngest wife, Robyn, created tension within the family. Eventually, Christine chose to leave the polygamous family, which encouraged Yanel to reconsider her troubled relationship with Kody. Shortly after parting ways with Kody, Christine met her soulmate, David Woolley, and the new couple tied the knot in October 2023. Meri also ended her relationship with Kody in January 2023 and has since entered the dating scene. She is actively using dating apps and is looking for someone who shares her zest for life. Unlike Christine and Meri, Yanel has chosen not to pursue dating at this time. She appears content with her roles as a mother and a businesswoman and has no immediate plans to remarry. However, Yanel knows she doesn't want to be with Kody. Just like her other sister wives, Yanel always remained faithful to her plural family. She cared for Meri, Christine, and Robyn's children as she did her own. She contributed her hard-earned money to a family fund accessible to all. However, in recent years, Yanel realized her devotion to the Brown family was taken for granted. She is now prepared to enter a legal battle with Kody to receive her fair share of Coyote Pass property. Despite this betrayal, Yanel remains committed to achieving her dream of a happy family. Yanel relocated from Flagstaff, Arizona, to North Carolina to be closer to her children and grandchildren, leaving Kody and Robyn behind. After the loss of her adult son, Garrison Brown, she has made it her top priority to always be near her children. Yanel recently posted a video regarding her new business, Tider Farm, in Chocowinity, North Carolina, stating, "Finally putting down some permanent roots." Yanel is thrilled her kids can join her in running errands. She is so pleased with her move that she wants Christine to get a second house in North Carolina. Yanel has an independent and free-spirited attitude, which is one of the main reasons she chose to be a sister wife. However, she felt controlled by Kody on several occasions, and their strong bond eventually became tumultuous. Kody often made financial decisions without consulting Yanel and suggested she should be more submissive and obedient like Robyn. Now that Yanel is no longer bound by spiritual marriage to Kody, she is free to pursue her dreams without interference. For the first time in many years, she can follow her path guided by her intelligence. After leaving Kody, all three sister wives decided to pursue different paths. Christine wants to cherish the romance she missed while with Kody. Meri wants to date a man who will love her unconditionally. Yanel is trying to cleanse herself of the past. In a post shared at the beginning of 2025, Yanel said, "Making space for greater peace and clarity by detoxing my life emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually." She clarified that this detox doesn't mean deprivation but freedom. Yanel added, "Freedom from things that weigh me down, so I can make room for the things that truly matter." Yanel is taking her 2025 detox goals very seriously and has started implementing changes to detox mentally. She posted a picture from her trip to Florida and talked about how she reduced her screen time in the morning because it was causing her to have a scrambled brain with too many tabs open. Yanel ditched the habit of reaching for her phone first thing in the morning, replacing it with morning in prayer and meditation, reading, and writing. Considering her need for freedom, it appears the sister wives star may have felt restrained in her marriage to Kody. "I was so nervous, I didn't sleep at all the night before," Christine recalls of telling David. "But he was great with it. So I didn't have to explain polygamy, which is great because sometimes, guys think you have loose morals." Christine Brown initially hesitated to share an important detail about her past with her now husband, David Woolley, but couldn't have been happier with his response. In People's exclusive preview of Sister Wives Sunday, October 13th episode, Christine opens up about her reaction to her second date with David, whom she later got engaged to in April 2023 and married last October. In the clip, Brown recalls how they met online and hit it off really, really well after their first date. "Dave and I have gone out twice now. We look adorable together," she says before holding up a photo of the pair. "Look, he's cute." Continuing, Christine says she was an open book with David, and his response to her past reassured her. "I told him everything, polygamy background," she explains. "I told him everything, and anyway, he goes, 'Oh okay.' He goes, 'I know about polygamy, and my sisters live polygamy,' and I'm like, 'Do you want to live polygamy?' And he's like, 'No, gosh, no, I'm not interested in that.'" The TLC star was relieved to know that David did not want to have a polygamy marriage, something she had with Kody Brown, and fellow wives Yanel, Meri, and Robyn, until they split in November 2021 after 25 years together. Robyn is currently the only wife left in the marriage with Kody. Having a conversation about it, though, made her nervous. "I was so nervous, I didn't sleep at all the night before," Christine says in the clip, jokingly referring to it as a super fun experience. "I told him, but he was great with it. So I didn't have to explain polygamy, which is great because sometimes you explain polygamy, and guys think you have loose morals, and then they think that you're going to be interested in their open marriages. It's like, no, 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 that's not the situation of it," she adds. The reality television star goes on to say that David is just solid and real genuine, which differs from her prior relationship with Kody. "I got to just be me and he really liked me for me," she says, before detailing how this differed from her relationship with Kody. "When I met Kody and married Kody, we had a very different relationship. He was already married and I wanted to be respectful of that, so we talked on the phone and we were good friends before we got married, but it's not like this giggly, fun relationship." Being that David didn't make any physical gestures of being attracted to her after the second date, he didn't hold my hand on the second date and we didn't kiss on the second date, she admits. Christine says she's ready to have another important talk with him before things progress anymore. "I need to have a conversation with him about, is he attracted to me and everything like that," she says. "So it's like, yeah, I really like him a lot. Just saying." Sister Wives Season 20 won't happen if this one thing comes true. The Brown family might finally be ready to move on. The end of an era might be on the horizon for Sister Wives. After nearly 15 years of intense drama, shocking revelations, and endless emotional turmoil, the Brown family could finally be ready to move on. Fans have been holding on to hope for another season, eager to see how Kody Brown and his fractured family navigate their new reality. However, one looming factor could bring the series to a definitive close, making Sister Wives Season 20 nothing more than a distant dream. This one thing, the Brown family finally cutting ties with their toxic past and embracing a future beyond reality TV, could mean the show's demise. As the dust settles from years of heartbreak, betrayal, and manipulation, each of Kody's former wives appears to be inching toward a new chapter, free from the constraints of plural marriage and the emotional chaos that came with it. And if they decide to turn the page completely, Sister Wives may not survive. For over a decade, the show has revolved around the crumbling dynamics of Kody Brown's polygamous household. The early seasons painted a picture of a large, loving family attempting to navigate the complexities of plural marriage. Kody, alongside his 4 wives, Meri, Yanel, Christine, and Robyn, claimed they were committed to their unconventional lifestyle despite the challenges. However, as time passed, the cracks in their foundation grew deeper. Resentment, jealousy, financial strain, and Kody's increasing favoritism toward Robyn unraveled the family's structure, leading to the eventual exodus of 3 of his wives. Christine Brown was the first to make the life-altering decision to leave. Her departure marked a significant shift in the family dynamic, as it was the first major break in Kody's carefully crafted world. Christine's exit was empowering, signaling to the other wives that they, too, had the right to seek happiness outside the confines of their strained marriage. Her decision inspired Yanel, who had long been battling dissatisfaction and neglect, to finally step away. And then came Meri's long-overdue realization: her marriage to Kody had been over for years, and she was merely holding onto a fantasy that no longer existed. With Christine, Yanel, and Meri gone, the structure of Sister Wives has drastically changed. The show was once about the balance of 4 wives sharing one husband, but that balance no longer exists. What remains is a shell of its former self, a reality series centered on a monogamous couple, Kody and Robyn, clinging to the remnants of their past while grappling with the consequences of their actions. And that's not what the audience signed up for. If there's one thing that could prevent Sister Wives Season 20 from happening, it's the realization that there's nothing left to tell. The biggest source of drama was the unraveling of the plural marriage, and now that it's all but dissolved, what remains? Kody and Robyn lamenting their losses? The ex-wives moving forward with their lives, away from the mess they left behind? That's hardly the compelling content that once made Sister Wives a must-watch. The Brown family has always thrived on conflict, whether it was internal struggles, financial woes, or the tension between the wives. However, now that 3 of them are free, the appetite for further seasons is dwindling. Fans have followed Christine's journey with David Woolley, celebrated Yanel's newfound independence, and watched Meri attempt to redefine herself outside of Kody's shadow. Their stories have shifted away from the polygamous lifestyle that originally made Sister Wives unique. As time goes on, it's becoming increasingly clear that the Brown family is evolving in ways that no longer fit the show's format. Christine, Yanel, and Meri are no longer bound by the struggles of plural marriage, and their storylines have taken them far beyond Kody's control. Their willingness to step away from the past signals that they are, for the first time in years, truly ready to move on. And if they do, Sister Wives has no reason to continue. Kody and Robyn, on the other hand, remain in a state of denial. They continue to portray themselves as victims of an unfortunate circumstance rather than acknowledging the role they played in their family's downfall. However, even they cannot escape the inevitable truth: their era of polygamy is over. The premise that once defined Sister Wives is no longer relevant, making the show's future uncertain. Without the original dynamic, Sister Wives risks becoming a repetitive cycle of Kody and Robyn's pity parties. If TLC wants to maintain interest, they would need a compelling angle to keep audiences engaged. But what could possibly replace the drama of multiple wives fighting for Kody's attention? If Christine, Yanel, and Meri refuse to participate in another season, the show loses its core appeal. And judging by their recent actions, they have no interest in reliving the past. Christine has made it clear that she's never looking back. Her relationship with David Woolley has brought her immense happiness, and she no longer has the burden of Kody's neglect weighing her down. Sister Wives patriarch Kody Brown's recent parenting advice proves he's learned nothing from his mistakes. Kody Brown has spent years presenting himself as a devoted father, a leader of his once massive polygamous family, and a man whose choices were always guided by his deep commitment to his wives and children. However, his recent parenting advice makes one thing abundantly clear: he has learned nothing from his past mistakes. Instead of taking accountability for his failures, Kody continues to victimize himself, deflecting blame and reinforcing the same toxic patterns that tore his family apart in the first place. For years, Sister Wives fans have watched as Kody's relationships with his children crumbled before their eyes. His fractured bond with several of his older kids, particularly those from his marriages with Yanel and Christine, is no secret. While he once painted himself as a father who was doing his best under complicated circumstances, the truth is far more disappointing. Many of his children have expressed deep resentment toward him, feeling abandoned, neglected, or outright dismissed during crucial moments in their lives. Instead of reflecting on these failures, Kody has taken a different approach, offering parenting advice that is completely detached from reality. In recent discussions, Kody has attempted to position himself as a source of wisdom on how to raise children in a plural family. He has spoken about the importance of respect, obedience, and maintaining strong parental authority. But the irony is hard to ignore: these are the very areas where he has repeatedly fallen short. His words ring hollow when considering how many of his own children have distanced themselves from him. His advice is not rooted in experience or growth, but in a desperate attempt to maintain the illusion that he was, and still is, a good father. One of the most glaring problems with Kody's parenting approach is his belief that his children owe him unwavering loyalty and respect, regardless of how he treats them. Over the years, his interactions with his older kids have revealed a disturbing pattern: he expects their deference without earning it. Many of his sons and daughters, especially Garrison and Gabriel, have made it clear that their father's lack of presence, empathy, and understanding has deeply wounded them. And yet, Kody refuses to acknowledge their pain. Instead, he claims that they have been influenced by their mothers or outside forces, further positioning himself as the victim rather than the cause of the rift. His recent parenting advice follows the same misguided logic. Rather than focusing on building meaningful relationships with his children or admitting where he went wrong, he emphasizes obedience and discipline. His tone suggests that his children should be the ones to bridge the gap, reach out to him, and mend the fractures in their relationships. This mindset completely ignores the reality of his role in their estrangement. If anything, it shows that Kody still believes he was right all along, despite overwhelming evidence that his approach to fatherhood has done more harm than good. What makes his lack of accountability even more infuriating is the way he rewrites history to serve his narrative. Time and again, he has blamed Christine and Yanel for the breakdowns in his relationships with their children. He claims that they turned the kids against him, sowing seeds of discord and creating an environment of hostility. But the truth is far simpler: his children felt neglected and unimportant, and they responded accordingly. During the height of the pandemic, Kody's parenting was put under a microscope like never before. His strict and often unreasonable rules led to severe tensions within the family. While he imposed harsh guidelines on some households, he seemed far more relaxed when it came to his time with Robyn and their children. His favoritism was no longer just an unspoken reality, it was blatantly obvious. When his older children pushed back, asking for fairness and consistency, Kody reacted with defensiveness instead of compassion. Rather than listening to their frustrations, he doubled down, punishing them with emotional distance. It is this same lack of self-awareness that defines his current stance on parenting. His advice centers around the idea that children should listen to their fathers, regardless of circumstances. But what he fails to understand is that respect is a two-way street. His children are not upset with him because they are rebellious or ungrateful. They are hurt because they feel discarded. The fact that he still refuses to acknowledge this reality speaks volumes about his inability to grow as a father. His victim mentality is perhaps the most damaging aspect of his parenting philosophy. Instead of taking responsibility, he casts himself as the wronged party. He speaks about the pain of being alienated from his children but rarely acknowledges what led to this estrangement in the first place. His words carry an underlying message. He sees himself as the father who tried, the man who did his best, only to be unfairly rejected by his ungrateful kids. This narrative is not just inaccurate but also harmful, as it shifts blame away from where it truly belongs. The emotional damage caused by Kody's actions is not something that can be undone with empty words or misguided advice. His children needed a father who was present, fair, and emotionally available. Instead, they got a man who prioritized control over connection, discipline over dialogue, and power over parental love. His failure to recognize this is precisely why his advice is not just flawed but completely irrelevant. Even now, with so many of his children keeping their distance, Kody does not seem interested in true reconciliation. If he were, he would not be offering broad, outdated parenting advice.